if something happens to you're screwed.
I lost my account once and they just stole all my money and there was no payout process.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go.
Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here ever, welcome for the first time. My name is Meela and today we are talking about Second Life things. So usually I play games, primarily Second Life and GTA, and sometimes I sit down with people in Second Life and talk about Second Life things. So today I'm super excited. I have Reece Maloney, who is the owner of Alantori, which is a really cool hair and clothing brand in Second Life. He also owns Manly Weekend, which is a sales shopping event for men, and also Manly Arena, which is a shopping event for men in Second Life. So we're gonna sit down and chat about all of the things, primarily some of the things that you would not expect as a creator in Second Life and some of the things that may surprise you. So I will be doing my makeup while I interview Reece. This is a get ready with me and chit chat series. So if getting ready or makeup offends you, I strongly suggest maybe tabbing out, or there are very many interview channels on YouTube that you may enjoy. Also, super quick note from the editing room, I didn't realize how close my mic was to my leg that was resting a little high up on my chair, and I keep hitting it throughout the video. It's not super loud, but so sorry. It's gonna happen a couple of times. If you like makeup and you also like learning about more things in Second Life, continue to watch and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's just start off, like, how did you find SL? When did you join? Kind of what did you like to do before you dived into business?
I'm Reece Maloney in world, and my real life name is Rick, and I'm in Second Life since the end of 2006. And I started Second Life basically by recommendation of a friend. He told me about the whole platform to build stuff, and that didn't really hit me in the beginning. After a while, I just started to build like these really basic things, these cubes and stuff. And then I got hired by a real life company to make these things. That was back in the day when companies were still very, very interested in joining Second Life. In 2011, I started Alantori. That's something that I'm still working on at the moment.
So I know it's like the Second Life of yesteryear. I think before I even joined, there were so many businesses here, and that's what I kind of knew about it, because I think it was like on an MTV episode or something. But so you did work for a bank, and you were so basically you just recreated the bank in Second Life.
Yeah. So it was like a side project basically, next to my real life work. Something really small, and that was basically like an introduction into Second Life basically. And in 2011, I started Alantori, which back then only had skins and primitive hair. I don't know. Are you from that time basically?
Yeah, I remember prim. Yeah, I remember prim hair, flexi clothes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that's how I started, and that basically became like bigger and bigger and bigger. That's how the ball really started rolling. But I had also a very long time that I was out of Second Life. So basically, the moment when Mesh basically came into Second Life, I left. I didn't even know about it, and then when I came back, everything was Mesh and Bento, and I was like, what's going on? It's like, what is Bento? I was like, I know it from this box, from Japan, this lunch box.
Oh yeah.
what are they talking about? Is this lunch box from Japan? It was like, I didn't make sense to me,
Yeah, definitely. So when you started, you said you were doing skins mostly. Did you have that skill set before Second Life, or was that something you learned in Second Life?
Yeah, that's all learned by myself. Yeah, I just looked a lot on YouTube on how to create these things. There were back then also a lot of tutorials. Still, actually, there's so much to find on YouTube. Like you can learn so much. Like if you're into something, you really want to dive into, like skins, for example, or creating mesh or whatever. There are tons of tutorials also online.
Okay, I am going to start diving into putting some makeup on my face. I know you mentioned you have some skincare products for men as well.
I do.
I'm super excited. I love skincare.
I had to get also a little bit into like the whole makeup thingy, right?
Yes. I was wondering. I was like, I don't know what men can do to get ready, but you have some, so that's awesome.
Yes. So you're gonna start with some cleanser, right?
Yes. Yeah, what's the brand for that one?
Guarana and Coffee from The Body Shop.
Oh, awesome. Oh, The Body Shop's so good.
I don't know. This.
Oh, sweet.
Which is really, really nice, actually, after shaving. Then we have a aftershave for normal skin.
Oh,
This is
nice.
really, really nice. It burns a little bit because, when you shave, it burns a little bit. And then you have the molten brown, which I don't know if it's available in the States, but here it is. And even in London, I got this in London. Cream, basically. And then, of course, top it off as a man. I don't know, I'm not really into makeup and stuff like that, but you just put some perfume. And then my favorite is Kenzo. I really love this one.
Oh, awesome.
So, yeah.
You know, it's funny. I was talking to someone earlier because through quarantine, I've still continued to wear like perfume and fragrance, even though I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I just love it. I just
Yeah.
also spray it like that. I just love to also smell good.
Yeah.
Even when I'm alone.
All right. So from there, so you started, I'm sorry, you said you started with skins, and were you doing hair back then, or is just skins?
Yeah, prim hair. Yeah.
So how did that whole like process evolve? I know you said you left at some point. So when you came back, did you just have to kind of jump onto the mesh train, or were you slowly evolving?
Yeah, well, it took me a while to get used to that. I remember that in the beginning of Mesh, from in my time, basically, we had these machines where you could put prims into like a machine in world, like in a box, and then it would create a mesh out of it. You could buy it from Marketplace, and then that prim basically would turn into a mesh, basically.
Oh, that's awesome! I didn't know.
Nowadays, of course, it's Blender and we have all these other tools, but that was a handy way to get into to mesh, basically. Yeah.
So when you were first starting, how did you promote your brand, or how did people find out about it? Was it a lot of stuff on Marketplace, or did you have to like do some marketing to get the word out?
A Marketplace is a huge thing. I think it's very underestimated. A lot of my sales, I think like 60 or 70% of my sales come from Marketplace.
Oh, wow.
In fact, I'm a bit late with my releases, like the last 8 releases or something are not even on Marketplace yet because it's such boring work.
Yeah.
Because it's just basically copy paste work and uploading all these pictures, and it has to be less than 1 megabyte and blah, 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 But to get the name out was joining events. Remember, I started with 30 Linden Saturday and 35 Linden Sunday. Then when you get bigger, basically, you also join bigger events. Like right now, we're in the Saturday sale, which I'm really, really happy about.
Yeah.
Manly Weekend, then of course, which is our own event. Yeah.
So now as a creator, do you, or if someone was looking to get into creating, should that kind of be a goal of theirs to try to get into one of these weekend sales, or do you find like just the normal events are more beneficial?
I think people like to spend like 50 or 75 Linden, something in that range, basically, on stuff. And the fact that you have like a gallery and you can just choose your stuff from there. I don't want to discourage events or something, but personally, that's my personal experience. It's very handy to have like a gallery or like a note card where I can see everything and just shop from there, and just go for the things that I really like. That's why again, this is really personal, but events are still really, really big in Second Life, and like our event too, like Manly Arena, is also growing really fast. But my personal preference is the weekend sale, honestly.
I know I'm one of those people that lives for events because I'm just a lazy shopper in Second Life. So I like everything in one room. I love also the sales on the weekend, but I don't do those as often. Do you want to talk a little about Manly SL? Like, when did you start that, and how did you even start an event?
So we started Manly Weekend, first of all, about 2 years ago, I think. And because the reason why was that we saw a lot of things going on for girls, like New Dubai, Trashik, stuff like that. And I thought, I need to make something for men because there's not much for men. So I started with Manly Weekend. I think after a year, we started a Manly Arena event. And Manly Arena event is an event also for men, focusing on new designers. That's something that I really wanted to dive into, because you see a lot of other men's events that have like designers already like for years, I think, it's always the same thing, which could be good, I don't know. But I really like to give some designers a chance. I've got some really, really cool examples from designers that started with Manly Weekend. But what's nice is that they need to have their first step in Second Life, because my biggest frustration also as a designer is always like, can you please let me in your event? Can you please let me in your event, and it was always like a big hassle. So I wanted to do the opposite. I wanted to say like, you can create something nice. I want to give you that chance. You don't have to be in Second Life for 3 years and then you can come to our event. No, if you can create something nice, then you're welcome. And I think that is something that how do you say that, separates us from other events. No,
because I know a lot of people starting off, that's the frustration, like, to qualify to get into an event, you have to have been in an event, but like, where do you even start, or where do you get your
exactly
break?
You need to start somewhere, right?
Yeah,
exactly. One of the designers actually that joined Manly Weekend, which was really interesting. He basically came to me and he said like, can I please join? He joined. And he's now one of the biggest designers in Second Life. Like, he's in every event right now.
Oh, nice.
And I am so happy that I could, be that first thing. What I do not like so much about some designers though is that sometimes you give people that chance, you really want to help them. Then later on you find out that they really stab you in the back. When you really want to have them at the event, then for example, then then it's like no, I don't have time. I'm full with events. Like okay, but I helped you, so can you also please help me then a little bit? That's a bit of a frustrating part from the organizers.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we don't think about like the actual work that goes into organizing an event. So do you mind, like, how does all of that work? Or let's maybe start with the weekend sales. So do people like pay a certain amount of money to be a vendor, and just basically how all that works? I don't think I have any idea.
So I have a scripter. I think it's handy to mention that I have like a team of people that work. First of all, we have Kara, which is my manager and my best friend also. He is amazing. She does a lot of work. I can't really like name the things that she does. She does really a lot. Like, but I also have a scripter that helps me. So basically what we did is we have this system in World where people or designers put their slurl and their name of the store. They drag the note card inside in the picture, and the system basically then makes the HUD in the end, and we receive the note cards, and we make like a shopping list then every weekend. And that shopping list is then sent out every Friday morning.
That must take a great deal of work as well, because I think I've shopped absolutely. Manly Weekend. I have a male avatar called Mahir, and I remember we went around shopping Manly Weekend, and it was just so organized. Like, for me, I don't like shopping all that much. Like, I don't like moving around, but having it all in a HUD, I think, was the most convenient thing that I've seen in Second Life. And not many weekend sales do that. They just have like the note card, and you open up pictures or find landmarks. So what made you want to do kind of the HUD system?
It's a very I'm really happy with that feedback, actually, because I was thinking of leaving the HUD out, to be honest, because when you're in a sim where there are no scripts allowed, it doesn't work then anymore. That's why we also have the but apart from that, I mean, there are not many sims that do that. The HUD is quite handy though, because you have all the pictures, you just click on it and you just teleport to it directly. You have all our social media, the website and stuff like that also on there. To come back to your question, why did we do that? We just wanted to have the easiest experience for people shop at Manly Weekend.
So when you were starting up the weekend, did you just reach out to brands, or how did you even find people to begin with? Or was it hard getting support or like people to kind of?
Yeah, it is quite difficult, because you start with something and people are like, okay, what's going on? Especially, it's very hard because you can't start with some very unknown brands.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to come up with some designers. So I started to talk with some really big designers, and I basically, gave them my word, like, I'm going to try my best to make this as big as possible, but I need time. Give me time, give me that opportunity, give me that chance. And a lot of people actually joined already in the beginning. I think we started with like 20 or 25 designers, and now it's around 40 till 70, something like that.
Oh, wow.
A week. What I do see though is that women shop more than men. And you can really see that also back in sales. You can see that it's less than, for example, a weekend sale, for example, that is for women. But that's something because we men we really shop less. That's a general thing that we all know. For men, I think this is a very good one, because you have we men are also, I think, quite lazy in shopping. We want to have everything in one place, and it has to be easy and quick, you know. And I think this is the best solution in that case, you know,
Yeah,
to
definitely.
have everything there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you started with Manly Weekend. How did you transition to Manly Arena?
Yeah, I wanted to also organize an event. I mean, I had a lot of requests of people saying, would you like to start an event, because the weekend sales is nice, but I have some items, for example, that are worth more than $50 Linden. I also got some people saying that, you know, some skin, for example, you know, the skin designer would say, you know, my skin is definitely worth more than $50 Linden. And I was thinking, yeah, it's a good point. And then, you know, Manly Arena basically started. We started that in September 2019.
Oh, wow. Still really new. You mentioned, so what are the exact dates for Manly Arena? I know it runs monthly. So for anyone who doesn't know, Second Life events, basically you have a certain amount of time to get sometimes exclusive or just things that are specific for that event in one area. So it's super convenient. Yes. What are the dates that Manly Arena runs?
Manly Arena events runs from the 3rd till the 26th of every month. And yeah, this, but every designer has one exclusive item that they need to do for the event.
And I know this is interesting, so because you participated in events as a designer and you're also an event owner. So how do you think that kind of impacts some of the decisions that you make as an event owner? Because I know a lot of times I've seen people talk about it can be very stressful to be in multiple events, and that, you know, deadlines are very strict, and all of these nuances that I think a lot of people don't think about when they jump into a bunch of events. So just basically having that experience as a designer, how did you make some of the kind of rules or format Manly Arena?
Really talk to my manager and discuss the rules, basically, you know. What is very important for us right now is TOS, the, you know, terms of service of things. Last month, for example, we saw some items that had some real life branding on there. So that's something that we're focusing on at the moment. Like even like some symbols that look like, you know, get also you know, directly checked and everything. So this is something that we're very strict in. Yeah, what else? It's like a normal event, basically. You know, just have an exclusive, be on time, and we do all the promotion, you know. That's it.
Awesome. So now I know you mentioned you have a team. So maybe break down, like, who do you have to help you out with the event and with your own personal brand?
So I have a team of different people. Basically, I have Kara, which is my manager. We make the pictures always together. She does all the customer relations. So she talks to customers with questions. If people have questions, they basically directly contact her, basically. Then I have a scripter, Mark, and he does the scripts of the terminal for Manly Arena and from Manly Weekend. Yeah, we made a clock. I don't know if you heard about it, 50 Linden Clock. Do you know about it?
No.
So 50 Linden Clock is a clock in Second Life that designers can put an item in. The picture and all the details will be on our website automatically. It's really cool.
Wow.
And shoppers can teleport directly to the item, and the item is available for 50 minutes for $50 Linden, and after that, it's not available then anymore.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know about that. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, so I can show that to you later. So that's something that we came up with last year. It was funny because one week later this was really like intern that we spoke about this and scripted this and stuff. It was a lot of work, months of work.
I bet.
And literally 1 week later, somebody else came up with 60 minutes.
Oh.
I was like, no.
Yeah.
And then I even went to like real life lawyers and stuff, and I had
a friend
that was into patterns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We had a whole discussion about that, and but so these things, you know, can also happen, you know, like you come up with an idea that you worked on for a very, very long time. I mean, we worked very, very hard on that script. I mean, to get that picture from and teleport and stuff like that automatically from the item into a website is quite some work, really. So if you see that somebody steals that idea after 1 week, it's a bit like,
So how does that, maybe we could talk about that a bit, because I know that's a lot of people's fears when it comes to creating, period, not even like just events, but, you know, what do you do when you've maybe posted a work in progress or someone's somehow stolen your idea and completely replicated it? Has that happened to you often or before even this situation? situation?
So yeah, this was the thing that I really was pissed in real life. Like, you know, this is just, I find it very, very rude. And I mean, if you come with something else, but this was just too obvious, and then everything looked exactly the same and stuff like that. I was like, this is so intern, you know, this nobody knew about this.
Yeah.
So when it went out after a week and I saw that, I was really in shock. And that's why I also went into real life lawyers and stuff like that to do that, you know, to see, you know, what we could do about that, you know. But yeah, it's difficult because it's all virtual and you have to explain how it works, and talking to real life people about Second Life and doing business in Second Life is a hell, really a hell. Really, I mean, I also got registered here in the Netherlands as a company, and you have no idea how many times I had to explain here to the VAT system, you know, like how I did my business and stuff like that. It was a pain, honestly.
I know, even like for me, so I have had to pay taxes, and trying to wrap my accountant's mind around how this is making me money or what it is and what expenses are was a headache. And it gets expensive too, because you're spending so much time to kind of educate them. But yeah, so you have actual real life lawyers as a resource. That's super useful.
Yeah, no, but you need that, I think, if you do business. I mean, if you do serious business, because I think if you do it as a hobby and you just create stuff and you sell it, and you know, you make like $1,000 per month, you know, it's fine. But when it's like serious, then it's and you're doing it full time and you have a team under you, you know, you need to protect your, you know, what you're doing, you know. It's very important, I think.
So you mentioned you do this full time. At what point were you able to completely use this as your primary income?
Very interesting, because I used to live in Tunisia, and because we travel a lot, me and my partner, we travel a lot around the world for his job, and I needed to have a steady income, but from something, and this was my hobby. So in 2018, I was working as an English teacher in Tunisia, and salaries over there are very, very low. And that's why I said, you know, how about me doing Second Life full time? And that's basically how I did it. But I found it very, very scary in the beginning, because what if we have a really bad month, or what if Second Life stops, you know, then I don't have a job anymore, you know. So it's it was scary, but now I'm confident, and But what do you think about Second Life putting themselves on the map? Like because I find it very difficult to understand Second Life from you know, the promotion videos that I see.
Yeah, it's
you know, I think it's something that you have to experience yourself.
Yeah, it really is. And I think they're putting more effort, I think, into marketing.
Yes, absolutely.
But it's something, I used to work in marketing, and there are so many things where I'm like, just let me get my hands on this, that I wish like Second Life would do. But I think they're trying to branch out and figure out how they can relate to more people. Because even just from my experience on YouTube, for example, you know, I think I was growing steadily, like an average, you know, I was reaching Second Life users until like I kind of humanized it, and I got in camera and I said, this is who I am. You know, there's not this one mold of who's in Second Life. And I think it made a lot of people just more comfortable, like, okay, this might be interesting. I was assuming one thing about Second Life. I think if Second Life could find a way to do that, because they have a very specific mold. Even when they do these kind of like real life interviews, there's still a very specific, you know, story behind it. And I think they're sticking to that, and they're not branching out. So like, we know that this is a great place for people who aren't able to experience things in real life, or people who can't live a certain life in real life. And I'm like, we're excluding the people who can do things in real life and still want to play Second Life. Or
totally agree.
I think they kind of ignore that aspect. So I think if they can find a way to just be more diverse, you know, beyond, you know, what it looks like to be a Second Life user, or what the world looks like, I think they focus more on the people. Even their creators, I think, you know, if people knew like the extent to which you all are 3D artists, because I think that was a big surprise from my interview with Moose. Like, people didn't understand, you know, what it meant to create. They thought this was like The Sims, where you could work. I guess Sims is also hard. Or they thought it was just like some program they could go in and play. But I'm like, you're using real software that people at like Warner Brothers are using to create, you know, animations, and you're doing that in Second Life. And I think that's something that people still don't really have a grasp on.
I have some things that I would definitely change. What I would I had a discussion with the owner of Second Life back then, Mark Kingdom,
Oh,
CEO
yeah.
of Linden Labs.
Yep.
So in 2010, I was invited to the opening of the Second Life office here in the Netherlands.
Oh, wow.
And I had a discussion with Mark Kingdom back then to talk about having Second Life on mobile phones.
Yeah.
This was back in 2010.
Yeah.
And I told them, I said, I really think that you should definitely invest in that and come up with something that is for iOS or for Android. This is a huge market. And this is back in 2010. I mean, again, we're in the complete begin stage.
Yeah.
And back then I got the response saying, we would love that, but phones are not powerful enough.
Oh, God.
I found it weird because I saw somebody that was, like this nerd that could do stuff with his phone and stuff like that. He could run Second Life on his phone.
Yeah.
It was very laggy, but he did that on an iPhone 3G. An iPhone 3G, right?
Yeah.
It's really, really old.
Yeah.
Again, he was in the virtual world. He was walking around. Again, it was laggy, yes, indeed. But he did walk around. So now that we are in 2021, I definitely think that there's no excuse anymore to not say Second Life is not able to run on iOS or Android. Yes, there are ways of minimizing complexity. I don't know, like maybe you don't see your full avatar, but you see like I don't know, like something easier, like the standard avatars like from before. I really believe that it is possible though on these iPhones.
We've had all of these mobile apps pop up, but what happens is it's just a person out there that knows how to do it. So they'll create an app. Like I remember there was one called, I think it was Metaverse or something. Yeah. And that was just an app to download, and you could see yourself little. It was not the quality you get on a PC or a computer, but that's independently run. So that's just a person, using their funds and resources to create something for Second Life.
And I really don't understand, because I've had these discussions multiple times, and basically the response is that the users are not looking for that, and we don't really need that. But I think it's a wrong way of thinking, in my personal opinion, because how can you say that if you've never tried it, and how can you say that a market is not open if you've never been with the new market? Like you've never had an app for people to join Second Life on an iPad, because nowadays you have a very powerful iPad, even with an M1 chip at the moment, which is super powerful. It's even more powerful than my gaming PC, obviously. Come on, I mean, it's time to get Second Life on iOS and Android. There are no excuses anymore, and this is really something that frustrates me a lot, because it puts me back. It's my motivation gets down if I'm for so long now in Second Life, and I don't see any progress in that.
And it's just like, I wonder where they're getting this data. Like, how do they know? Because every video I post up, there are at least 10 comments. Is there a mobile version of this? Like,
exactly,
no. Go ask them about it.
Exactly, and again, this is very, very interesting what you're saying right now, because those are people, or a lot of your people that look at your channel, for example, they want to try Second Life, but on their iPad or on their iPhone,
And I think it's
again, it doesn't have to be as complex as it is on the PC. But just have a mobile version, for it. But I just want Second Life Linden Labs to come up with a good. That's actually the only requirement I have for from them, because I really think they miss a huge market of people. I think there are still millions of people that would love to join Second Life, but they don't want to sit on the behind the computer all the time.
And I think that's why when you look at just like comparatively, IMVU started a couple years after Second Life. With a lot of people don't even know. They think like Second Life copied IMVU, but they've got such a massive user base. And absolutely. I think, that's the thing. People still don't want to leave IMVU for Second Life because of mobile compatibility.
Support-wise, I can't complain about Linden Labs, because they're really fast and they're very helpful. And maybe also because I'm a premium member. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know, but no, they are very supportive and very fast also. Also with, for example, things that money-wise, for example, like you need to have something sorted with money. They are quite fast with these things. So.
I know another thing that kind of keeps people from joining. I know we've like completely trailed off of creating, but another thing that kind of keeps people or apprehensive about joining is just the cost of Second Life. Things are very costly and it's expensive. And recently we had even more inflation to support some of these efforts. Like I think they mentioned like mobile compatibility might be a part of this. Just in general, how do you feel about like pricing in Second Life, or how have you experienced changes? Because I remember when I joined, it was not this expensive. I can't remember what I paid to get started, but yeah, it's gone up.
Very expensive. Well, to make a starter avatar, like a good looking avatar, you need about $50, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you need a mesh body, you need a mesh head, you need to go get a skin, you need to get some clothes and stuff like that. So to get into the game and to be one of us, you need to spend at least €50 or $50. So that's quite a lot of money, I think. Especially if you want to join but you don't really have the funds. Yeah, it's quite expensive. As a creator, it is also expensive because all the uploads cost a lot of money. You know, every texture you upload, 10 or 10% of your market sales. You know, cashing out, you have to charge. Then PayPal gets the charges. So in the end, I think I had this discussion, by the way, with Muzi before. I think in the end it's like 37% less or something from the you know, something like that. So don't buy me on these numbers.
No, it's crazy because it's funny because I don't think I've ever noticed, because I don't do it full time. So, you know, I just withdraw just from a safety point of view because I don't like having it all there. But I didn't notice the other time. Like the other day, I think I withdrew and my fees alone were like $300 just to withdraw my money. And then I was like, then PayPal is going to also hit me with 10%. So I'm like, this, at the end of the day, like, I don't know if I could support myself. You'd have to be doing extremely well. So I think, you know, that's another thing we could talk about a bit. How do you budget? Like, how do you figure out like how many sales you need to do to make a proper amount of income and pay your staff? Because you have a lot of responsibility, not just for yourself, but like for, you know, paying your team. How do you work that all out from a business point of view?
So yeah, what's very, very important is planning, of course. Event planning. We have a Google Calendar, and I also use Discord. We have you know, a schedule, basically things to do, a gossip group on Discord also. No, we have you know, we I think planning is very, very important. Promotion, I don't know, like the usual, I think, you know, doing a lot of promotion on Facebook, Instagram. We see a lot of things changing with Facebook though, because I remember that when we started, we got a lot of likes and stuff like that on everything that we posted on Facebook. But that's getting less. And I did some research also on that, because that's also part of the job, of course. Like, why is that going? Why is that getting less? And it's because people, like 20 people, if 20 people see it on Facebook and they don't like it or comment or something, it just basically vanishes from everyone's timeline. They have to go to the page or to the group to actually see it, you know. So people really have to interact, and you really see that some people that really interact a lot are constantly also on top of your newsfeeds. And
I think social media algorithms make it very challenging, and I've seen that a lot. Like, people are like, no one on Facebook likes my stuff, but like, that's the thing, you know, Facebook pushes it out for a certain amount of time. It sees how people react. If people don't engage with it, no one's going to see it.
Exactly.
After that. And then it's tracking, well, I know for Instagram, I don't know how different Facebook is, but it tracks how active you are. So you as a brand also need to be like commenting and liking things, or it kind of pushes out. How have you kind of dealt with some of those social media changes beyond? Yeah,
that's a very interesting point. Social media is very, very time taking, or how do you say it? Because you really need to interact with your stuff, also with designers. In my case, because I also want to promote all the brands. So funny thing is that I'm more on my Facebook or Second Life Facebook than on my real life Facebook. You know, I spent hours and hours on this, and I'm trying really to give the best to my designers. I really want to give them the best promotion possible. So I post everything on Flickr, on Instagram, in my stories, and on Facebook also. I like to reshare everything and stuff. In the beginning, I was actually scared of spamming everyone, you know, like I didn't want to post so much. But I think it's very, very useful to do that a lot, because or you know, else you're not seen on Facebook anymore, you know. You're out, you know. It's very, very important to be active over there. And what I do to promote basically my designers is to, and also for my own designs, of course, is to post it in a lot of groups on Facebook, and then again on Instagram and on Flickr.
So what would you say, how much, so I know like average work time in America, a lot of people, if you have a full-time job, you're working 40 hours a week. How much time are you spending, working?
Oh, so much, so much. It's really difficult to say that in exact numbers, because I'm even working before I go to bed. When I wake up in the middle of the night, I open and I still share things and open and like things and everything, So I would say probably about 15 hours, I would say, per day.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. No, really a lot. Really a lot.
So when you're in Second Life, is it completely work, or do you do anything for fun in Second Life?
It's a very good one, because I really want to focus a little bit more on enjoying. Like yesterday, I don't know if you saw that, but I posted also a picture of my first boat driving experience.
Oh, nice.
I bought this boat, and my boat was like this, in the water.
That's like my driving. Yeah.
And I was like, no. But I had so much fun though. It was so nice. And I think that's something that I miss from just playing Second Life, rather than only having it, for business purposes. Because for me, it's only business basically, and I don't really do much. But I would love to have some friends to hang around with. I mean, I have some people, but that's like a really, really small group. And we do things like Chatterbox, for example, where we ask each other some really kinky questions and stuff like that. Or play some board games and stuff like that. Those are the things that I really enjoy, as I'm also enjoying in real life. I love to do these things when I'm offline. Basically, I really like to keep my screen time as less as possible when I'm not behind Second Life. So I also don't watch television, for example. I miss a lot on Netflix, for example. I don't really watch it.
I think that's been my struggle lately, especially like now that things are opening up. It's so funny because when quarantine started, I was like, whatever, this is my life anyway. But now after a year of it, now all of a sudden I want to be out. So it's been hard for me to figure out like the time to do all the business stuff, time to do all the YouTube stuff. And I was like, but I have to have fun because that's my YouTube content. So it's just like, where do you even figure it out? And like sometimes usually what I used to do is like, okay, the week I'm off limits because I'm working. But then I get to the weekend, I have these 2 days to pack all of the work in. I'm like, I just want to play. Like, I just want to have some fun here. But it's hard to balance. I think people expect that you give all of your time to working.
Absolutely. But you have to explain me a little bit about the role playing, because that's something that I don't really understand in Second Life. Like, you need food and stuff like that, or how does that work?
Yeah. So have you ever played The Sims or anything?
Yeah.
So it's basically, there are systems in Second Life that are trying to make Second Life more like The Sims. So there are two like big ones. There's one called like Zeolife and one called BU. And it's basically a HUD system, and you get these different statistics for like eating and using the restroom and showering and sleeping. But you have to like script all your furniture to go along with the system. So if I sit on a sofa, for example, I'm getting my rest stats up. So it just like gives people things to do.
Cool.
Yeah, because I think people, after you go shopping, you take some pictures, you're like, okay, what do I do in Second Life now? So I think it's just something to keep people busy. But it's
That's so cool though. Yeah. I mean, you really have to take me one day,
Yeah, I'll have to show you. I'll bring you over
and drive around with burgers and fries.
I know. Tomorrow I'm doing a bunch of, because we have a holiday here in the US, I'm doing a bunch of like food truck driving. So I'll be driving around and singing about burgers.
Burgers and fries.
Yeah. It's so funny.
But that's something that I really want to do a little bit more, like look into the fun aspect of Second Life. And do some fun stuff. I don't really have time for clubbing, for example, like to go stand in a club and let my avatar dance there.
I know. Yeah, I've kind of lost interest in that, because I think it's the same. I think we like over maybe it's the past few years that I think just enhancements have changed so much. So there's so much shopping to do, and I think that's become the main thing people do in Second Life. But I think it's also kind of separated us, because what we all end up doing is like, now that we're shopping, we want to show it off, and we all go stand on our platforms and take pictures or just create more stuff. So we're all separated, because I remember when I joined Second Life, everywhere was busy, but now everyone's kind of in their own silo. So it's really hard to try to get back to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 90% of the time I'm on a platform, basically. Yeah. Just standing there with some prims, because those are service and I'm uploading stuff and things, that's the only thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to also spend some more times with friends and just
Yeah.
do more board games and stuff, you know. Mappy also has this really cool thing where you can do games in Second Life and go from level to level basically, and the
Oh,
HUD,
yeah.
you know, you see a loading screen covering up
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It was so professional. I think there's also a professional team behind
Mhm.
behind Mappy. They really do an amazing job. But that's something that I also really enjoy, to do some mysterious things like
Oh, yeah.
the escape room, for example, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I
I
really
did
I
my
love this.
first escape room a few weeks ago.
Ah, how was it?
I failed. I didn't get out, but it was fun. I'm
How
no
long
good
did
at
it
it.
take?
I think I was doing it
You
for
got
2
fed
hours
up.
before I finally just gave up. But I was like, well, I can't beat it. And it was the timed one, so I had to keep restarting because I wasn't figuring it out fast enough. But I'm no good at those in real life, so I didn't expect anything. So I know, so one thing that comes up with creators a lot is everyone assumes that all creators have a huge team behind them. So there are really unrealistic expectations that I think pop up when people talk about customer service. So I see this all the time on Facebook. That's usually how I figure out like what people are feeling. I just look at Facebook, but people are always complaining like, why do you have a brand if you can't have customer service? Meanwhile, you know, maybe that brand just gets back, you know, maybe 48 hours instead of immediately. You know, what has that looked like for you? Because when you started, you probably didn't have a big team, but how has that evolution been, like getting a team and then also just setting expectations for your customers?
So customer service basically for me is very, very important. I really like to listen to feedback, and I also like to help everyone as soon as possible. Like, but also I want to do like that extra thing, and I think that's very, very important for me, is to give the customer really the feeling that they're like a king. As
Yeah.
funny as it might sound. Like for example, yesterday I had somebody that bought something, and I set the vendor wrongly. I mean, when they clicked on it, they got a different item.
Oh, yeah.
And I just gave them like a fat pack of that thing, you know, just to
Oh,
give something
nice.
extra. And
Yeah.
then they're like, oh my God, this is so nice of you to do that. I mean, this is normal. I mean, I appreciate that you telling me that this vendor is bad and it's not working, because if you don't, then you're gonna tell everybody else, like, you know, don't shop over there because, you know,
Yeah.
you don't get the product that you're paid for, or you get a 1-star review, for example, on Marketplace.
Yeah.
And you don't want that, you know. That's very, very frustrating, you know. One tip though, for people that buy stuff from Marketplace, if there's a problem with a problem with a product, just contact the owner first and then make the review. Don't say like, okay, the demo is missing. Just let me just fix that real quick, you know. So, you know, those are just tiny little fixes. Or
I think because a lot of people assume that Marketplace is like an online shop, but I remember Marketplace had a change in how you upload. And I remember I had a little Marketplace store, or I would throw up things I was doing on the channel, like a shape, for example, but I refused. Like, it is so complicated and there are so many steps, and it's so different from like posting something to like Etsy or something. So it's definitely a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. And those 1-star reviews you really don't want, because you cannot do anything about it, you know. Your sales can really go down because of these 1-star reviews. So it's very frustrating, especially when it's like things that are noted already in the description. I don't know, like a shape is not modifiable or something. Obviously, because then you can copy it, you know what I mean, like stuff like that, you know.
To chat a little about Alantori. So what sort of products do you sell with Alantori?
So we sell hairstyles for men and for women. The female hairstyles is made by a woman, because I don't really know what hairstyles are fashionable for women, of course. So we have that. We have then hairstyles for men. We have clothing for men, and we just started with also making content female clothing.
So as a creator though, let's talk about what have been some of your frustrations.
So my frustrations is, for example, putting stuff on Marketplace. Like I said, I'm now busy with putting these items on Marketplace. The frustrating part is to put the demos also on there. So the demo has to be also a separate item. Then again, that has to be linked again to the other one. And then that demo needs to have 8 featured items. And then the product also needs to have 8 featured items, you know. So you have to click everything one by one, you know, like it takes a lot of time, and it's just boring work, you know. I don't understand why that can be easier, you know. I would love to see an improvement in that. I mean, apart from that, what I find annoying is the waiting times for some things, like uploading, for example.
Oh yeah.
That you have to pay for everything. Yes, we have a beta Second Life, but that's offline for now.
Oh, it's offline. I didn't even know.
It's offline at the moment, yeah. So you cannot
wow.
really try outfits and stuff. So that costs a lot of money.
That's
at the moment.
expensive, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. I know we had one of these questions come up in Discord, and I was curious as well, because I've seen this lately, that because Second Life is such a social platform, sometimes it's hard to avoid drama. Have you ever experienced some sort of drama, like either with your brand or personally?
Oh my God, this is a very interesting topic, actually. Yes, there is a lot of drama in Second Life. There's a lot. And it's very hard to avoid drama. And what is very scary for me is that I'm not only the owner of Alantori, but I'm also the owner of Manly SL. So if something happens, it's my whole image, basically.
Yeah.
So that is something that scares me a lot. Like, I've had some issues, for example, with one of the event owners. And that basically blew up, basically, in the end, it was as I'm the worst person ever, and that's something that is very, very frustrating, because you always have, of course, two sides of the story, but it's very hard if you're an event owner and also a brand owner, because your whole image basically is then done. Because as a creator, you can just say, okay, this has gone so wrong, let's start with something else, for example, if it really goes bad, but that's not possible in this case.
Just rebrand and start over, but
you could, because it's Second Life, No, but that's really, and I'm really afraid of this kind of thing,
Yeah, I think it takes a shift in the consumer, because I think that's what I've had to look at, because I see it all the time. I'll see like a creator like finally having the last straw, and they'll bring something up on Facebook. It gets very public, and before we even know the other side, everyone's like canceled that person.
Exactly.
So I think it falls on us as consumers to like really, that's not our business. Do you create a great product? Do you have great customer service? That's where you kind of have to focus, because that's been huge lately. And like you mentioned, it's so hard to avoid. Like even it's so funny, because I was talking about this a bit on Twitter yesterday. Someone was talking to a friend of mine about some drama that I have with some person, and I'm like, I don't even know who that is. And I was like, I log in 2 days a week, and I'm on camera the whole time I'm logged in. So it's just very funny. But like, it could be something that you didn't even notice. Like maybe I responded to this person too late, or I said something that they interpreted a different way than I meant it. And
that thing that you're mentioning right now is very important, because I'm not a native English speaker, so I'm Dutch, and sometimes I say something and it comes across as very, very rude or very harsh. And I've had that many times, actually, where I meant it actually in a very sweet way, where I'm like trying to help, but I also have to be careful though with how I say it though, because it can be interpreted as very, very harsh. And we Dutch, I don't know if you know that, we Dutch are very straight to the point. Like, I don't like this, then we don't like that,
Exactly. It's funny, because like it's such a cultural thing, and I think people forget about understanding cultural differences when we're here, because we're all in different places. But I think I can even relate, because I come from a business background in real life, and we don't deal with all the fluff. Like, unless you're trying to convince someone to buy something, like, we're just going to get to the point. We don't want to ask how you're doing. We don't want to ask if we can ask a question. We're very direct. And I think that personality is very hard for people to deal with in Second Life, especially if you're just from another culture where that's how you are. It gets interpreted very wrong.
That's why I'm really happy with Kara, because Kara is a genius in that. She's really, really good in staying calm and just, like, yes, of course I can help you. And, she really is so helpful with these things. And again, that's something that I can also give as a tip to creators. Be very responsive to people, but also the tone of how you say that is very, very important, because people get really, really fast offended, really fast. So be very careful with that.
It's like there's no just one size fits all personality trait. I think people really just have to like take it case by case. And I think that's what's hard for a lot of people, because I think, you get comfortable with a certain thing.
Yes. Yeah.
But I could even say, like, from a customer service standpoint, like, you can't look at every brand and just because one brand does something for you, that every brand is going to do that. And I think we often go into Second Life thinking that's how it should be, because we see that in real life sometimes. Like, you know, these huge companies often have the same exact customer service, like rules or regulations. But Second Life is diverse.
Yeah. What I just hope is that creators would be a bit more open to each other. Mm-hmm. And share ideas and just help each other a little bit more, you know. Don't keep everything so for yourself, you know. Let's just be a bit more helpful to each other. Mm-hmm. I would really love to see that, you know, that we are as a team, basically, you know, as a creator team, basically.
Why do you think it's that way now, that people are kind of very private about all of that?
Because I think they're afraid that their business basically gets ripped, and you know, people that people steal ideas. You know, like one of the things, for example, that I'm looking into right now is alpha hair, for example. That's been going on now already for a very long time, and I'm going into that right now. But it's really hard to find a way on how to upload that and how does that work. I really had to look at, for example, some do hair and really look like, oh yeah, I think it is like that, and oh, I think it is like that, but I'm not sure. I just have to try out. I'm like, why is there no one that can help me out? And or like, I wish we could just open up. I mean, I'm telling a lot of things. Like, I've had other interviews too, and I've explained a lot of things on how to do things, and I really try to help. So I would really love to see that from other designers too.
Yeah. Now, is there currently, I mean, I'm sure I can't imagine there is there any place or any way for multiple designers to communicate, or do you communicate with any other brands? No.
Yeah, with the brands that are in the events, of course. Mm-hmm. That's minimal. Yeah. I would actually love to start like a group, and of course, you know, now that I'm gonna say this next week, this is gonna be like not made by me. It's gonna be someone else. So there goes my idea again. Yeah, I would love to have a group. So again, if designers are looking right now, contact me, please, because I would love to have a group where we can sit down, discuss some things. What's going on? What is your biggest frustration? What can we do about that? Things that are very handy to know, about uploading, about complexity, about, I don't know, you know, different kind of topics basically. But to have like a group of designers and have like a meeting every month or every once in a while, you know. Yeah, that's something awesome that I would love to see that. So if people are interested in that, I mean, please contact me, because I really would love that, you know, to have a group and discuss things. Also about text things, for example, that's something, there is actually a group on Facebook that helps each other. Like I've had I've had a Dutch designer too that had issues registering her company in real life. Mm-hmm. And it was really difficult when it comes to tax and pay. Oh yeah. You know, all these things, and I've helped her, and I've also talked to others like, how did you do this? And it's very, very important, I think, especially because it's a world that nobody really knows. Yeah. And I think in the Netherlands, for example, I think there are like 15 designers mostly, you know, that do the same thing as I'm doing. So you know, this is a very, very small group. Yeah. And I've had so many conversations also with tax people here. I don't know.
It's so funny, because I think that's just one random thing you don't think about. Like I also had to register my business in real life.
How was that for you?
It was complicated. So what ends up happening is, I think maybe a year or two ago, I did start making a sizable income. So what happened in the United States is it took me out of my current tax bracket and pushed me into another one. So now it's looking at all of my income combined. So everything from my real life job, everything from my real life business, and now Second Life. So now I'm just in this new tax bracket where I have to pay more taxes with everything just because of Second Life. So what I ended up doing, I got like what we call sole proprietorship, but it's actually more cost efficient for me to incorporate. So that's what I'm working on now. But yeah, it's complicated. And I honestly think it would be useful to have some sort of finance resource. I think even from Linden Labs, like if there was some place, because I mean, they know finance, they know what they're doing. I think, you know, they know these businesses are starting in Second Life from people who didn't go to business school. You know, a lot of us are just figuring it out on the way. So that would be really cool to see from them as well, or even for them to be able to facilitate some sort of just like, you know, business owner meetup.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So
And another thing is that if something happens to your account, like even
oh
for you, for
God, yeah.
example, you're screwed.
I lost my account once and I did a video on it. Oh, I didn't even publish the video. So I forgot what it was. Something about like the Tilia crossover. They needed my tax documents. They didn't like bring them over, and I never got that email because I just didn't notice it. I was getting so many other ones. So they ended up just shutting out my entire account. And I think at this point I had like I kept way too, this is why I don't keep money in my account anymore. But I think I had like almost 800,000 Linden in my account. And I'm like, they just stole all my money and there's like no payout process. So I'm like, what do you even do? But yeah, it's risky. There's so much risk.
It is.
It's scary because at any point, if you lose your account, and I think there's so much governance stuff that we just don't understand. Like a lot of us could be breaking rules that we don't get because the verbiage in the terms of service, you would need a lawyer to like interpret it. So it's very scary.
It is absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and even the cash out things, so you have all these boundaries all the time. You go from tier level 1 to 2 to 3 to, and that's also something.
That's a pain.
I literally had to open up my whole real life story and explain everything. Like I like to keep my real life also discreet. Yeah. But I literally had to open up. Like I had to explain what my partner is doing in real life and something. I'm like, why? I don't have to tell.
Just to get the money that you've already owned.
Exactly.
So that's what I went through. So I had to go up a tier, and I think this is my third time because I couldn't quite figure it out. So I was just trying to I withdraw multiple times a month, but collectively it was pushing me past limits. So all I wanted was an increase so I could get the money that is mine. But you have to explain why you're taking money out, and I'm like, because I want to.
What are you doing?
And they're like, is this your income? And I'm like, no, I just want to go buy some Louboutins. Like I can, it's mine. So
exactly.
But it's there are some processes I think within Linden Labs that are just really murky and make things a little more complicated.
No, but that's also a thing for creators. I think it's very important to mention this. Like there are so many things that you don't think about when you're starting a brand, but there are so many limits, basically. Like especially if you start as a designer, you cannot earn more than $1,000.
Yeah.
Then you have to explain why and how much and. Do you have any alt accounts? And where did your mom live?
Right.
Like God,
Yeah. And then I forget. So anyone who doesn't know, so what we're basically talking about is once you make a certain amount of Linden, you can take that money and turn it into real life money. So you can transfer it to a PayPal or I think Skrill. I've never used Skrill, but you can't do that. You can't just take out unlimited amounts of money. Everyone is in a certain level. So your starter level, I think you can only take out, I don't even think it's $1,000. Like just to begin with, like you can't take out $1,000. You have to like request an increase. So you submit a ticket and then you get to like a tier level 2 and then you could take out maybe 1,000. But then if you're doing business, you have to make sure you're requesting a business tier. So I didn't know that fact. So I wasn't even on a business tier until like a month or so ago. So I would just have to wait and just like months and months to even get a certain amount of money out. So they finally put me in a business tier and then that wasn't enough. But I was like, okay, I still can't get my money because what happens is you can sell the Linden. So you can sell them to real life dollars, but then you also need your withdrawal fees to be increased. And that's where I wasn't like connecting. So, say you can withdraw 4,000 or you can sell $4,000 worth or 4,000 USD worth of Lindens. I'm saying this so backwards, but you can't take it out because maybe your withdrawal limit's 2,000. Like they have all these weird roadblocks. So that's something to think about too. And then of course there's processing times, so things take a bit to get to your account. But
and then the process fees. That's another thing.
I can't remember what the fee is, but I think it has to be like at least. I think it's. Is it 5?
I think it's 5%.
Yeah, because it went up. I remember it was like 2% for a while.
It's a lot, but again, it's not only the 5%. It's also from marketplace and uploads and stuff like that. So it's not cheap.
Yeah, and I think that's another general assumption. If we're doing like random assumptions, I think people are like, "Well, creators make so much money," and I'm like, at the end of the day, the work doesn't compare to what you would make in real life either way, because you are hit with fee after fee and then the cost of things. 'Cause I think people assume because it's virtual, there are no like overhead costs. Like, yeah, I don't have a factory, but for what I make, the percentage is still yielding about the same. So I think that's something to expect when you come into it.
An interesting fact maybe to talk about is all the fees that you have when you're a creator and to be successful. So first of all, you need a premium account, I would say, to get quicker support. Costs about $10, I think, per month.
Yeah,
it's not that much, but again, I'm summing more things up. Flickr account needs to be pro, or else you cannot post any links, because that you really need that too. Marketplace advertisements cost about I think $800 per week, I think, per item. So keep that also in mind. Then your upload costs, then your transaction fees, then your tier, which is also very expensive. I mean, I'm paying about
tier is crazy.
$300 on tier every month. So don't think that everything is just I'm paying you the $150 for that t-shirt is a lot. No, I mean, we also have to pay our stuff, and I also have to pay my stuff. I have, for example, I have Kara, then I have somebody, and this is all this is all to give back to the community. Like, for example, I also hired someone that does the customer service in Spanish and in Portuguese. So I'm paying someone that can help people in Spanish and Portuguese, because I find it very important that my clients get the best service possible. So I speak personally Dutch, German, and English. Then Cara speaks English and Italian, and then we have Spanish and Portuguese. So this is maybe also something that other creators could invest in. To have like a team that can really help customers in different languages. So that costs a lot. To come back to that point, it costs a lot of money. All these things, and in the end, is it worth it? In my case, yes, because I have Mandy SL and Mandy Arena with it. So that also makes some money. Yeah, I mean, I think there is much more to get if you work for a real life company and do something like this, like professionally or something. I think, honestly.
Yeah. What would you say? I know we've talked about so many different things. Is there anything else you can think of that is like something that's unexpected when you're becoming a business owner or a creator in Second Life?
The word for me, it was that I underestimated the time I've put in Second Life. Like I said, I spent more time on my Second Life Facebook than on my real life Facebook.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I remember when I started, I was like, I in the beginning, I remember that I was on my Second Life Facebook, and it's like, I think I'm not gonna spend much time on this, because this is so stupid to have my Second Life also a real life Facebook. That's insane. But nowadays I'm spending so much time on that, but also of course also on organizing and on Blender and stuff like that. It costs a lot of time. What I like about creating is that you can just make whatever you want. And maybe I can give a tip to designers, is to look on other websites like Fiverr, for example, where you can hire people. You pay them some amount of money, and they do it for you, basically. And if you're busy like me, you just pay them a certain amount, and they rig it for you, and saves you a lot of time. So it's good.
I never thought about that. Are there people that do like things that like Second Life, like rigging and meshing on Fiverr?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yes. Yeah. And there are also other websites, that you can find people. Also in World, there are also people that can do that for you. And I saw also a group, I'm not sure what the name was, but you can also request things to mesh or to rig also in there.
So, that's really cool.
So blessed, you contacted me to be in the video. Thank you so much.
Thanks for doing it, and thanks for like showing your face. I know that's always a little nerve-wracking.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind about that.
Anyone, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Reece for joining. That was super insightful and just really fun to chat about and get to know you. You guys be sure to check out all of the things. So the link to Alantori, Manly Weekends, and Manly Arena are below. Also that really cool clock thing that he was talking about. So I'm probably going to do more on that, but check that out. Everything's in the description below. Please don't ignore it. Just hit the little see more button. You'll see all this stuff in the description. Lots of really good things going down in the description. So check it out. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more with creators and more interviews and stuff, be sure to slap a like on this video and comment below with some of the creators or designers that you're really curious to hear from. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye. All right, honey buns, before I completely end this video or let you walk away, so today, Second Life announced that the Linden Lab CEO, Ebbe Altberg, passed away. And I just wanted to take a moment to really just send my condolences for everyone who knew him, friends, family, and of course, all of his colleagues at Second Life. And I know lots of residents have mentioned that they had the pleasure of meeting him or chatting with him over the past few years as well. I think it's very often or very easy that we oft forget or kind of don't really think about kind of the people behind some of these, you know, the beast that is Second Life, or, you know, whatever we enjoy. But I think this is one of those really unique cases where everyone knew who he was. And I don't think you see that often. You very rarely know who the CEO of any company is, because, you know, you're more focused on kind of the end product and, you know, what you get out of it. But I think this is one of those unique experiences where we kind of all knew his name and kind of all knew his work, and I've potentially at least seen him speak at, you know, once or twice. I think it's really just a testament to how involved and how passionate he was about the user experience, and, you know, just communicating and being as transparent with the end user as possible, which, you know, is really rare, I think, for a platform like this, or even, you know, in technology, period. You know, I think one of the reasons I even wanted a series like this was to really highlight people who kind of share that sentiment. You know, there are so many people in Second Life, both at Linden Labs and within the actual world itself, that kind of work endlessly and tirelessly just to create things for us to have fun, or for, you know, us to be able to start these brands and businesses and make, you know, income, or just to connect with each other. And I think, you know, when you're kind of just in it, it can be very easy to just forget, or even just not take the time to acknowledge how people are putting their entire lives into that, just to build a community and make a community stronger and more enjoyable for other people. You know, when I look back and think about, you know, even the last 5 years, you know, being in Second Life and enjoying it and having fun, just thinking about like all of the iterations and just the evolution that we've seen here and the improvements that we've seen here at a pace that, you know, sometimes I can't even keep up with. And just thinking about just the work that goes into that, not only technologically, but leadership wise, you know, there's a lot to it. And I think, you know, definitely hats off to both Ebbe and the entire team at Linden Labs. You know, I don't think we can, that work doesn't go unnoticed. And I think, you know, as much as we can get critical of Second Life at times, but, you know, I think it's one of those things that you get really critical of the things that you love the most. And, you know, if I don't say it often, I very clearly love Second Life and really love kind of this platform they've built and the space that I've been able to build because of that. And, you know, I think sometimes when we see great progress in something, which we have all seen, we've all experienced, all you can do is look forward. And, you know, I can only imagine that at Linden Labs, the demands must just continue to come in. And you almost see that as a positive thing, because, you know, that's the whole thing you want. You want possibility to improve. And I think that's what people see. And I think that's what we push for a lot. But just really important to take the time to really acknowledge, you know, what a great environment this is, and, you know, how much work has gone into getting us here and providing the opportunities that we all have, whether it be just to have fun or to escape from day to day, or to, you know, making a living. You know, there's a lot here, and there's a lot that we're able to do because of a team that kind of works, you know, endlessly to make sure that we're able and that we're afforded those opportunities. So big thanks to everything that Ebbe's done for Second Life over the past 5 years. I think that's a legacy that we've all felt and has, you know, left an impact and can all be really grateful for. I know I definitely am. And just many thanks to the entire team at Linden Labs. You know, we hound you hard a lot, but we really do appreciate kind of what you all do for us and, you know, what we're able to do because of it. So thank you.
Just the other day, saw you looking my way.